forecast is underwritten by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. Smarter, better healthcare. More at bcbsms.com.
It is a much drier and cooler air mass. It'll be punching in across a lot of Mississippi for the upcoming weekend. It's going to be a treat for a lot of us. And we're still dealing with some rain, especially into the far southern parts of the state. In Tupelo, cloudy for the early morning, increasing north wind or low mid-60s. Sunny for the weekend with highs reaching near 80. We'll see dry weather for the early morning in Vicksburg, a low 65, hitting the low 80s for the high Saturday and Sunday, with plenty of sunshine coming in. Still some chances for scattered rain. Hattiesburg for the early morning. Saturday, too, a little rain. Saturday's high right at 80. We're dry Sunday. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore. This is Think Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 3 of Friday Night Under the Lights. I'm Chris Saxton, George Broadstreet, and our guest tonight, William Griffin, who has been a friend of this show for a very long time. I think as long as the show's been going on, and a good friend of Russ Robbins, who is on assignment up in the Delta. So, gentlemen, the show's yours.
Well, thanks for having me tonight, Chris. Appreciate Russ inviting me to do the show. Of course, I've been on the show many times as a guest, but I'm glad to be hosting it tonight, and got George Broadstreet to hold my hand a little bit tonight, so we'll get through the night. But what a great weekend for football with the weather change that we've got right now, and a little bit soggy maybe in most places tonight.
A little moist, but, it's kind of funny how it was just so hot and dry really all of August, and then it's probably rained more the last two weekends than it's rained in the last 2 months, But anyway, it's football weather. It seems more like football weather than playing in 95 degrees, that's for sure.
Well, I had the opportunity to do the internet broadcast for the Millsaps Belhaven game last night.
Which turned out to be quite a game.
It was an unbelievable game. It really was. It had been really one-sided Belhaven's way for the last couple of years, and Millsaps changed their coaches, and so did Belhaven with Coach Blaine McCorkle moving on. Coach Lechtenberg came in, returned to to Millsaps. Yeah. And they wound up pulling out a game 23-21 on a crazy play at the end, but they got it done and kind of flipped that rivalry around a little bit last night.
Yeah. I saw a few highlights on the TV last night, and that was quite a ball game. It really was.
Well, it was a crazy ending on it. Belhaven had a chance to. All they needed to do was kick a field goal at the end, and so they drove the ball, and they had third down and goal at the 4. And of course, it rained some, not too much during the game, but the field over at at Millsaps was a little bit slick from the rain that did come down. But they got it third down and 4 at the inside the 5-yard line, and the center snapped the ball over the quarterback's head, and Millsaps got on the ball at about the 40-yard line. The quarterback actually got back on it, but it squirted out of his arms, and Millsaps recovered, and ball game's over. They take a knee. What an ending. But a great way to start the college football season for the D3 schools. And of course, tonight we're in week 2, 3, 4.
Somewhere in there.
If they played jamborees or whoever started, earlier. But big night tonight, and I know these kids were really thankful that this heat let up.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. Chris, you want me to give some scores?
You do, and then Melissa Caldwell's on the phone. So we'll talk to her after you call the scores.
All right, we've got really just a hodgepodge of scores, but I'll give you what I have so far. Charleston defeated North Panola 34-14. It was West Lauderdale 42, Clarkdale 16. This game has gone back and forth. The last report, fourth quarter, Northwest Rankin was leading Clinton 35-34. And the leads changed hands in that one several times. That's in the fourth quarter, bound to be late.
Big game.
Well, it really is a big game. We'll talk, obviously to other reports as the night goes on, but a good ball game for sure. Copiah Academy defeated Raymond 32-12. I don't know that they've ever played before. Mooreville over East Union 42-6. It was East Webster over Nanawaya 41-6. Enterprise Clark edged Union 23-22. Forest over Newton 42-0. D'Iberville over Gaucher 33-12. This was the third quarter score. Germantown was playing Canton tonight and leading 24-6 in the third quarter. Gulfport shut out Van Cleve 35-0. Hadley defeated Smithville 36-8. Holly Springs over Byers 33-0. Houston edged Shannon 7-6. The game that Russ called, and I guess you can call it a game, Prep defeated Pillow tonight 63-0. And you said it was like 42-0 at the end of one quarter.
It was, and 49-0 at the half.
Wow. Hattiesburg big over Laurel 46-7. Meridian beat Biloxi tonight 26-6. Choctaw County over New Hope 42-20. Kemper County over Noxapater 46-8. It was Oak Grove beating Ocean Springs. Oak Grove considered maybe the top team in the state. 35-21 was the final there. Pass Christian over Purvis 48-9. Noxubee County 39, Philadelphia 7. And fourth quarter score, South Panola was over Oxford 34-28. Petal shut out St. Martin 41-0. Poplarville over Stone 13-7. Alcorn Central 20, Thrasher 12, and Tupelo over South Haven 40-13. So that's what I have at the moment. We'll have plenty more scores as the night goes on.
You know, as you gave those scores, George, it was really interesting to me how many rival games are this weekend. I mean, at least in proximity, you know, Stone County and Poplarville, I mean, you know, they're next door neighbors and things like that. It's kind of interesting.
Well, used to, it seems like, you had your district games and then you kind of schedule some games that maybe you felt like you could win. And I guess a lot of people do that. But then a lot of these schools play somebody in close proximity that may be a rival. It may not be in the same classification, but it's sort of a rival. And so anyway, a lot of games of interest. And, it's one of these things about doing this. And there's like 151. And it's amazing to me, in Mississippi, such a small state, small population, where you got 300 schools that play football. And there are like 151 games this weekend. And you go to places like, and I love some of these names, Thrasher and Noxapater. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. It's great stuff.
No, you can't.
Well, and one of the other scores that was interesting to me, those boys from Noxubee County love laying it on them on Philadelphia tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Because they remember Marcus Dupree days when it was ugly the other way.
Yeah, it was ugly the other way.
Well, George, and we've got somebody that I know is calling early, so we'll get him on early.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Reed Vance is on the phone to tell us about
Warren Central and Pearl.
No, I think he's still there. You ready?
Yeah, I'm still here. You guys there?
Good evening, Reed.
We're here, Reed.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys tonight?
We're fine. I've not seen a score on your particular game. Let us know what happened.
Well, the Warren Central Vikings defeated the Pearl Pirates 21-0. That was the final score. Eric Collins scored a couple of touchdowns. Aiden Greer had a touchdown. It was 7-0 at the half. Warren Central got beat by Clinton last week and did not look good at all. And really, the first half was kind of more of the same. But something sparked them at halftime, and they came out and looked great. Had an 85-yard touchdown drive in the third quarter for the second Eric Collins touchdown. They only had really 3 drives. They controlled the clock. They controlled the line. Really settle down and play the kind of football that they're capable of playing in the second half. TK Qualls had a big night at defensive tackle, and I really want to especially highlight the play of the Warren Central offensive line. Pearl's got a couple of really big boys up front. They've got some talented defensive ends. And the Warren Central offensive line tonight, especially in the second half, handled them very well. Donovan Taylor, Marquise Overton, Carmelo Clark, Daniel Pitzer, Spencer Smith, those linemen for Warren Central did a whale of a job tonight. And the Vikings, it finally clicked after really 6 quarters of pretty bad football, and they played 2 excellent quarters of football to pull away and get the win tonight.
Well, it sounds like Coach had a little prayer meeting with them after that game last week.
Something like that. But Pearl played well, too. They just couldn't get any offense going. Their quarterback, Jack Durr, was hurt, I think, in the offseason, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They played with a backup, Dylan Story, who played well, but he was hobbled a bit tonight as well. They're just not the kind of offense that I think they expected to be this year. But they played a hard football game, but couldn't stay on the field.
Who does Warren Central have next week, Reed?
We're going to go to Germantown High School
Wow.
next week to take on the Mavericks.
Yeah, Germantown's having gotten off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, I think they were beating Canton tonight at one point, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Can I do a little editorial for just a quick second before you guys let me go?
Well, I mean, knowing you, Reed, I would let you do it. Yeah, go
Absolutely.
ahead.
Well, I'm gonna pull my best Andy Rooney here for just a minute.
Okay.
You guys remember who Andy Rooney was, right?
We
The
do.
little
Yes.
curmudgeon at the end of 60 Minutes who
Right.
complained about everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. High school football coaches and administrators, this is for you. Please do not have your teams wear white jerseys with light-colored numbers. We want to see the numbers on your kids' uniforms. We want to get the kids' names right, but you're not helping us when you do that. The NFL prohibits light-on-light jerseys for a reason.
Yeah.
So I'm being half serious, half facetious here.
I agree 100% with you, by the way.
It would really help. Just high contrast numbers on a jersey. That's all I'm asking for. The average age of high school broadcasters in this state's probably 70-something now. Is that about right?
We're getting there, right? Yeah, about November. I'll turn that.
It's getting tougher to see these numbers every year.
No
and
kidding.
the fans need to know who the kids are. Give us some jerseys we can read. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, we agree 100% with you, and I would even add a little to that is with these real tight-fitting jerseys now, they ride up and you can't see the numbers half the time anyway. You get about half the number.
Well, yeah, that too, and I have to go between my bifocals and my binoculars. And, you know how that is. So
I do.
We want to get those kids' names right. So, man, give us some jerseys we can read. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But, anyway,
Sometimes what looks, I guess maybe from a marketing standpoint, it may look attractive, but if you're a broadcaster, it makes your job near impossible. So I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, you're not selling any of these jerseys. So.
There you go.
That's right.
Well, good luck next week.
Great game for Warren. Yeah, great game for Warren Central tonight. Hard-fought game for Pearl. They'll bounce back. I think they're going to Brookhaven next week, and then we'll go to Germantown.
Okay, Reed Vance, we appreciate you calling in tonight, and we've got more calls to take here. A lot of scores to go over. We're going to update any scores now. We got a call waiting.
No calls, so update some more if you've got a few more.
Yes. We got a score report that Heritage Academy defeated Biggersville. That's a little bit of a, MAIS 5A playing a MHS 4A, but Heritage won tonight at home 32-6. So that's an interesting score there for sure.
Really is.
Let's see. I think there was maybe one other I didn't give earlier that I probably should have. Let's see. Yes, West Harrison defeated Sumrall by the score of 35-18. That was the final there.
West Harrison and Sumrall. Got you. Well, it's great night to be in high school football tonight. Maybe probably all over the state, as we talked about a little earlier. A little soggy, and those schools that have the artificial turf are really glad they have it tonight.
Yeah, and it's amazing how many schools have that now,
It really is. I was watching the prep pillow game tonight, and they don't have artificial turf up there, and they've got that gumbo mud up there in the Delta. And the field this time of the year, if it rains early, it will be a mess the whole year, and just the jerseys get black, with that gumbo. It's really tough, but it's all about the money. What? Yeah, who can afford to do what?
It costs an awful lot of money, that's for sure. You're talking to Reed earlier there. I mean, Warren Central, they're really, it was a shock last week that Clinton had beaten them, and sounded like they kind of got things back a little bit on track, but they should be very, very competitive down the stretch in 6A this year.
Yeah, I think so, and their ego took a little bit of hit when they dropped in the polls, so I think they'll probably be back. Yeah. Sounds like we're going to go to break right here. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Well, we'll take it, and when we come back, we'll have more calls for you, and you're listening to and watching Friday Night Under the Lights.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
People who come to Cricket, stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for $15. You heard it here first. 5G plan starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
I'll be right over. Whoa, how'd you get your house fixed so fast? One call to EC Malone. If you don't know Malone, you don't know roofing. But what about insurance? They work with my insurance company so I don't have to. My repairs can begin without delay. Amazing. I'll call EC Malone Roofing right away. Thanks, Malone.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians. And there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov.
People who come to Cricket, stay with Cricket. Cricket gives me the coverage I need at a really fair price.
Stop, stop, stop! This came all the way from the top. New offer, 5G plan starting at $15 a month. Let's go! Smile, you're on Cricket.
People who come to Cricket, stay with Cricket. Cricket gives me the coverage I need at a really fair price.
Stop, stop, stop! This came all the way from the top. New offer, 5G plan starting at $15.
And we're back. And we've got a first caller here. We've got Ty Boyles on the phone. Talk about Crystal Springs.
Welcome, Ty.
Hey,
George.
Hey, how's it going, Ty?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Who did the Tigers play tonight? I don't recall.
We played South Pike tonight.
Okay, how'd that come out?
They beat us 32-14.
Where was that game played? Was it down in Magnolia or was it in Crystal Springs?
Crystal Springs.
Gotcha.
Okay. What was the final again, Ty?
32-14.
32-14. Okay. Well, the Tigers, they won their first game. And last week, I know they played a little bit out of their classification. Who do they have next week?
We have Jefferson County next week at home.
Okay. What do you think about that game?
No, we've seen Jefferson County this year, but I'm hoping we can do a little bit better than what we did this week.
Yeah, bounce back. Well, anyway, Ty, thanks so much for the report. We always appreciate hearing from you and hearing about the Crystal Springs Tigers. Give us your out.
Gus, I know you're listening. Go Dogs! Come hard!
Thank you, Ty.
Thanks, Ty.
Appreciate you calling in.
You know, Ty, thank you so much for being with us, Ty. All right.
Next is go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Ty, he does not lack in enthusiasm. I mean, that's what we need. Go ahead.
We're going to talk to Isabella. Hello, Isabella.
Hello.
Hi, Isabella. Welcome to the show.
Hi. So, I try to wait until Reed calls in and everything because he does the play-by-play and he give the accurate account of it and everything. But I'm a huge Warren Central fan.
Yeah, she's a Warren Central fan, through and through.
And so anyway, I am calling you this time from Nogales, Arizona.
Wow.
Oh, my word.
We appreciate that. You're a couple hours behind us out there.
Yeah, I'm a truck driver, so I get around a lot. I was home for a little while to keep my dad and everything, and unfortunately we lost him in December.
Well, we're sorry to hear that.
I went back on the road. So
well,
anyway,
when you said Arizona, I thought maybe you might be out watching the Mississippi State Bulldogs play out there.
No, I'm too much of a LSU fan to go watch.
You and my brother.
So I have a score for you in case you don't have it.
Okay.
Vicksburg ended up going down to Forest Hill, 28-23. They got beat by Forest Hill tonight. I was switching between Vicksburg and Warren Central and everything on the NFHS app and everything. So
okay.
Caught the game, and so I'm going to get off of here and listen to some more scores, and I'm trying to see who won the battle for the Little Brown Jug.
I think that was Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Hattiesburg won, I believe. I don't have it right. I'll find it here in a minute. But 46-7 is the score report I had. So that's a big win for Hattiesburg.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, and that's an interesting matchup there, Forest Hill and Vicksburg. I mean, I'm a little surprised that Forest Hill won that game, but that's a good win for Forest Hill for sure.
It was. I kept jumping back and forth like during a quarter break because they were a little bit behind each other. Vicksburg jumped out to a 9-0 lead. Then after midway through the second quarter, it was 9-8. And then next thing I knew, it was 14-9, and then I think 20-9, and I looked again, and it was Forest Hill 20, Vicksburg 16, and then it became 26-20, and Forest Hill went for two, and they had a two-play, 67-yard scoring drive right after the Vicksburg score, and so they just held on to the end.
Yeah. Well, Isabella, thank you so much for calling in, giving us that report,
and be safe on the road.
Yeah, be safe on the road, and join us again next week. Okay.
Will do.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We've got Ray Coleman from Clinton on the phone.
Ray, how are you tonight?
Hey. What's up, guys? How y'all doing, man? We just wrapped up, actually.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
That's a long ball game.
Give us a report on that one.
Yeah, it was a great game, man. Northwest ends up winning this one by a point. A great rally by them at the end defensively to force a turnover there in the last 30 seconds of the game. Just back and forth, man. Great emotion, great turn of momentum on both sides, big plays, all the drama that you would want to see from two teams that are trying to find their way, man, with young pieces. But both are hungry, so I expect great things from both of these teams as the season progresses.
Well, that's quite a matchup for this early in the season.
Yeah, it is, man. And it's a good litmus test, to be honest with you. while they may not be two of the elite teams in the state, they are building towards that, and you can see the talent in both of these teams, whether it be quarterback, receiver core, you name it, man. These guys have talent. It's just taking time for both programs to put it together, and it'll get there. Coach Cooper over here at Northwest Rankin is a really good young coach, and Coach Carr has come in and breathed new life into the Clinton program, man. So it was really cool to see it all kind of come together tonight. Both teams definitely have some things they can get better at in terms of penalties. I think they both had 10-plus penalties for over 100 yards, and both had 3 turnovers each. So you got to clean that stuff up, but that's what the preseason schedule is for. So when you get into that district play, you can be more fine-tuned.
Ray, I don't know that we really fully appreciate the fact that Clinton beat Warren Central in Vicksburg, last week. I mean, that took a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, they went out, man, and they found ways just to get it done. And what I mean by that, they had 2 goal line stances in the second half from the 1-yard line. 4 straight downs. They just stuffed the running backs and just kind of disrupted everything. They had a blocked punt for a touchdown. So again, just finding ways to be effective, man. If you don't have it going offensively at a certain point, you want that third phase of the game to kind of help you out in certain ways. And they were able to do that last week. And like I said, they were seconds away from getting their second win. Just kudos to the Northwest program for making a play when it mattered.
Y'all apparently got Warren Central's attention because they won pretty big tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe they were a little angry after that and figured it out tonight for sure.
Got their feelings hurt. Well, we appreciate it. Ray, thanks for calling in, and good luck next week.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, Ray. Thank you.
Joseph Craven.
Okay, Joseph Craven. Hartfield.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Joseph. How are you tonight?
Yeah. I'm doing great. Yeah, we are on the road back from Natchez, having just competed at Cathedral High School there, and walking away with a 49-0 victory, which was a good one. It was next week.
I think we're losing you there, Joseph.
You got me back now?
Yes, we do. Thanks. No problem.
Oh, good. Yep. Just saying, it was a 49-0 victory, and we're start district play next week. So, hoping that. So it was a good little, final tune-up of everything tonight.
And who do you have next week?
Next week we'll be down in Hattiesburg against PCS, who's been our start to district play for the past several seasons, and is always a difficult opponent.
I got you. Well,
this is Hartfield's third game. How many points have they given up in 3 weeks?
I believe given up about 14 points, maybe 21 points. I'm trying to remember. Okay. Normally, I think given up a touchdown in each of a couple of games. And tonight was a shutout. Last week was a shutout.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I thought they'd had a couple of shutouts. So anyway, Hartfield, they won it all last year.
With 2 stoppers like you got in the middle there on defense, nobody ought to score.
Right, exactly. And one thing that's really interesting about the game tonight, so far in the season, we've been good for at least a couple of special team scores or pick sixes or defensive scores. Tonight, every touchdown was an offensive touchdown. So that was the first time this season that the defense and special teams did not contribute. Obviously, though, it helps out a lot when you're pitching a shutout and keeping a 0 up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, who stood out on offense tonight for Hillcrest?
Hartfield.
Oh, excuse me. Hartfield. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'll give a lot of credit to the quarterback, Cayman Tapper, tonight, senior, who he has a great touch on being able to just drop long passes in over defenders. He had 2 highlight reel touchdown passes tonight that dropped straight over double coverage into the hands of the receiver that had gotten past the defenders. He did it twice tonight. Very good touch. I got to give Cayman Tapper a lot of credit for what he's been able to do.
So y'all played down at Cathedral down there in Natchez, right?
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yep, absolutely. And I love going down to historic school and a very fun. I joke that it's kind of a football field for high school football romantics. You know, it's
Oh,
an
no
old
kidding.
field. It's a beautiful little place, man. I love getting the opportunity to be there tonight.
I played on that field 50 years ago. And it's been upgraded a little bit, but it's a classic old stadium, one of the greatest in Mississippi. But we appreciate it. Good luck next week against PCS Bobcats. Appreciate you calling in.
Absolutely. Y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Joseph. Got a couple of scores that we had not given you before. Brookhaven defeated Franklin County 42-7. Had not given you that score before. Also, Baldwin beat Booneville by the score of 19-6. So we'll have scores throughout the night.
Okay. And we will go to break, but as we do, one other score that I got in, Coach Joey Hawkins gets a win at Columbia Academy against Bill Hurst, who has 429 wins, by the way, down at Centerville Academy, and Columbia beats them by a score of 28-0, so big win for Coach Hawkins tonight.
Absolutely.
And we'll be back with more scores and more interviews as you're listening and watching Friday Night Under the Lights.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phones? That's 5G. Nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
1 in 10 Mississippians has unclaimed money awaiting claim at the state treasury. There's literally hundreds of millions of dollars waiting to be united with the rightful owner. At www.treasury.ms.gov to search. You'll see your name and stake your claim by following these instructions. You'll be asked for some basic ID like a copy of your license or a government-issued ID, then hit send. Treasurer David McRae has a dedicated unclaimed money team awaiting your claim, ready to return your money. Don't wait. Look for your name and stake your claim today. www.treasury.ms.gov.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones? What?
Nationwide coverage and lightning fast 5G?
Smile, you're on cricket.
Mississippians love football, and our high schools in South Mississippi like Gulfport, Moss Point, and Ocean Springs stay connected with their students, parents, and community by live streaming events, including football through WSN Live. WSN Live provides your school with everything you need for professional and seamless live streams that are easy for students to run. And your fans can watch online from anywhere on any device. With WSN Live, your school gets the right gear, a rock-solid network, and game-time tech support. Learn more at WSNLive.com.
Getting home tonight. A little wet out there. We hadn't seen rain in a long time, but we're getting a little bit the last couple of days, and we hope everybody travels safely. And we got a lot of scores and a lot of interviews going on. George, you want to give a couple scores before we go to the interviews?
I can. These are some that we've not given you before. Indianola Academy shut out Benton 20-0. Jackson Academy beat Silman tonight 27-0. Jeff Davis County over Lawrence County 34-30, And Kirk Academy beat Central Holmes 36-8. All those are scores we have not given previously.
Well, that JA game sets up. They play Jackson Prep next week
Hey.
at Jackson Prep, so it's an earlier game this year.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that last week. Russ and I talked about how that always used to be kind of that almost
Tail end.
year-end finale before the playoffs, but moving it up earlier in the schedule.
You would have to play them 2 out of 3 weeks lots of times back during those days. That was when my kid was playing out at Prep, actually.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to the phone lines, Chris. Is that correct?
We're going to have Mike talk to Mike Peterson. Hang on just a second, and here he is.
Mike, welcome to the show. You're going to talk about Hattiesburg High tonight.
That's right. We played Law for the Battle for the Little Brown Judge.
There you go.
For the 103rd consecutive season.
Wow.
And Tigers came out on top tonight by a final score of 46-7. Deuce Vance, Tristan Keys, and Tyrese Barnett carried the load for the Tigers and got a little momentum heading into next week versus Oak Grove.
Well, did y'all play in Laurel or you play in Hattiesburg tonight?
We played in Hattiesburg tonight. Had a decent crowd for the weather to be like it was. Not like typical Hattiesburg ball crowd, but not a bad crowd at all.
Was it wet? Did it rain during the game, or did it just kind of light stuff and just wet the field down?
It started drizzling midway through the fourth quarter. Nothing major. Now it did rain earlier in the day, and the turf was wet, but weather was not a factor tonight.
Well, the Tigers have really gotten off to a good start. I mean, they opened up last Saturday night, wasn't it, against Petal and won that ball game.
We did beat Petal last week by a final score of 7-3. Offense struggled last week, but got it together tonight. But and also defensively held Petal to 90 yards of offense, and I'm not sure if Law even got that tonight. Law's only points came on a defensive fumble recovery. So the Tigers had not allowed a TD in 2 games.
Well, we talked about scheduling and everything. That's 3 tough games back to back to back. You open up with Petal, then you play the big rival game with Laurel, and then you got Oak Grove next week. And that's all kind of local teams for you guys, but that's a tough schedule.
It is, and that's how Coach Vance likes it. We open up with our 3 biggest rivals the first 3 weeks of the season, and looking forward to the game with Oak Grove next week.
Well, good luck with that. We appreciate you calling in tonight, and we're going to go to our next caller tonight, who we got, Chris?
We got Tommy Barnett to talk about JA.
Tommy, welcome to the show. Big night for the Raiders, right?
That's right, guys. Made the trip to Clinton, Louisiana. First time there to take on the Silverman Wildcats.
Been there and done that.
I'm telling you, man, it's really sloppy first half. Of course, it rained heavily for about an hour and a half before the game, and field conditions were horrible. Jay got a blocked punt, converted into a field goal right before the half. And really, third quarter just came out and dominated. Defense has been really strong all year for JA. First play, second half, got a pick that Jay returned to the 2, punt got in, and then the first play of the very next possession got a pick 6. So went from 3-0 to 17-0 real quick, and Jay finished it off dominating defense, 27-0 through tossed their 3rd shutout of the year. And held Silverman, I think it was 17 yards total offense on 40 plays tonight.
Wow, that's pretty dominating. And when you can go down there to Clinton, Louisiana, and get a win, especially on a field like that, because I've been down there when it hadn't rained in months, except there was 2 inches of water on the field when we got there back in the day when my son was playing for Jackson Prep. So I know how things go down there sometimes.
Absolutely, yeah. But we got the big one next week, getting the conference play, Jay and Prep, and it'll be my Raiders against Russ's Patriots, and we'll see what happens.
Well, how do you feel about that game being played this early in the year?
I like it. I mean, I've never liked end of the year or next to last game of the year and then play 2 weeks later.
I'm with you.
To me, of course, now you've got MRA and Hartfield that are both so good and so competitive. So the Jay Brett matchup is for sure not a given anymore. So, but I like it being kind of that early part, middle of the year, and then see how everything plays out after that.
Yeah, it kind of lets you, win or lose, it lets you get that behind you and then move on. And then if you meet in the playoffs, you just do.
Exactly right.
Well, have a safe trip home from Clinton down there, and we'll see you next week over at Prep.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Thanks,
Tommy. Hey, I've got a couple of scores, one of which is a game that we've talked about earlier, didn't have a final on, but Brandon did win over Madison Central tonight at Brandon by the score of 21-7. And so Brandon, who is probably, they're ranked in the couple of top teams of the state, wins another game against a tough opponent. I can't remember exactly how that game, but they played a couple of times last year, and I think they swapped wins. But that's a strong win for the Brandon Bulldogs.
When do they wind up playing Oak Grove? Do you know?
I'm not sure. It's later on in the season because they're in the same division. But anyway, Central Hines defeated Madison St. Joe 22-14, and McGee and Mendenhall played tonight. That's always a big game. And McGee shut out Mendenhall by the score of 8-0.
Got you. We got somebody up now, Chris.
Eric Smith's on the phone.
All right.
Eric, we're going to talk about Richland.
Well, I'm going to talk about Richland and the Mendenhall McGee because the Central County Super Bowl. I was just telling Ray, Mr. Haley Forrest used to call in every year running down scores at Central Academy McGee. Boy, he sure loved to talk about that Central County Super Bowl. But I was going to tell you that was late. Got that look. I based toss to my county rival, Pelahatchie, upset Stringer tonight, 33-22. And the Dragons had a hard fought win. They beat Richmond by a score of 35-20. And I just told them if they give me a score, I'd give them on radio for y'all. But now for Richmond tonight, the Rangers, we got a new turf field tonight, and it looked like it was going to be a good home opener. Sophomore Micah Sanford took the opening kick for the touchdown on the redid stadium and turf.
Wow.
95 yards on the board. We got up early, 20-0, and the wheel fell off the wagon because that little Southeast Lauderdale Tigers launched right back into that ball game and won it.
Wow.
21-20 without some excitement. It was exciting the last week we went in overtime. This week we stopped them and got 2 turnovers in the red zone twice in the final 5 minutes of the ball game. Come away with nothing. We went for the field goal on the 6-inch line, if you would call it that, and we had a bad snap and it never got off the ground. Another heartbreaking loss. I mean, you just wish that we bow up and cash that in for a touchdown. But though it is what it is, we off to an 0-2 start, and it'll get
the final is 21-20. Is that what you said?
21-20. Yeah.
Okay, and that was Southeast Lauderdale the win there.
Southeast Lauderdale got the win. Their coach, that was his. He was a new head coach too. He got his first victory, and I was on the sideline running the chains all night, and I went through the game and congratulate on a good win, good sportsmanship. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Well, who you got next week?
We got a rival, McLaurin Tigers.
Oh no!
You ain't seen Puckett McLaurin score, have you?
No, I have not. I'll try to track that down for you. But that's a big Rankin County matchup, isn't it?
It is a big Rankin County matchup. McLaurin's had a rough couple of seasons. They had a big win last week. Got their first win in a long time to start the season off. I was kind of hoping to get a score from Puckett tonight on that just to see how they do. The boys down there, they really need to win that. They're out. Everybody likes winning.
Well, Eric, we appreciate you calling in tonight. Tell your old brother hello for me.
I'll get the big nasty.
The big nasty.
We're ear to ear right now, right?
We've been down the road together. I tell you. Tell him hello for me.
All right, got it. We'll see y'all next week then.
Good
All
deal.
right,
Thanks for calling.
Let's try to squeeze in Harold just before the break.
Harold, welcome to the show.
Good evening, guys. How are you tonight?
What you
Good to
got
be
for
back
us
on the
tonight?
program. Well, after last week, upset with Hattiesburg beating Petal 7-3, we come back and beat St. Martin 41-0 tonight.
Wow, somebody got their attention, didn't they?
Yeah, I think we got our attention last week. But I will say this for Hattiesburg and Coach Vance and them, their defense is awesome. It proved it, and we played a good ball game against St. Martin tonight. Always, it's fantastic. Good to see Federal rack up the runs like they did and play ball. It was 38-0. I think it was like 35-0 at the half or something. But we won it 41-0, and we got a good ball club coming up next week.
Who you got?
It's going to be interesting. We got the Columbia Wildcats. They actually lose to D'Iberville last week, and they come back and beat West Marion tonight.
Okay. Well, call us again next week and give us a report. We appreciate it.
We will give you the report, guys. We
All
love
right.
the show, and we'll talk to y'all.
Thank you very much. All right.
Sounds like we're going to break.
We're going to a break right away.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
When storms rage, Malone responds. From claim to completion, Malone Roofing has helped rebuild communities for nearly 50 years. Contact Malone for 24/7 service at ecmalone.com.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today. See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phones? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on Cricket.
And here we are back, gentlemen, going into the last quarter hour before we get to the opera hour of 11. We've got a couple of callers on the phone. Do you have some more scores, George?
I do. A couple we've not given you before. Wayne County prevailed over Morton tonight, 45-28. Also, Tri-County remains undefeated. They defeated Northeast Lauderdale tonight by the score of 42-7. And again, mentioning that big game that was played in Rankin County tonight, Brandon beat Madison Central 21-7. And I think, William, you said that you listened to some of that, and it sounded like Madison Central just got on the board kind of late in the game. Brandon pretty well controlled the ball game.
Yeah, when I was driving up tonight, I had the game on, and it was 21-7, but Madison Central had just scored.
Right.
It was late in the ball game, so it was 21-0 before they got on the board. So
yeah,
pretty big win right there.
Yeah, Brandon's strong. There's no question about that. One other I thought was sort of interesting because Oxford had a huge win last week against Lafayette County, but South Panola defeated Oxford tonight in Oxford 41-34. So I think that's a pretty big win for
that's a big win
the Tigers.
Yeah, for South Panola.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about Tri-County. And we've got Cliff Barker on the phone to talk about Tri-County. Here's Cliff.
Cliff, welcome to the show.
Hey, it was a big night for the Rebels, guys.
Sounds like it. Sounds like they got it rolling up there pretty well.
They did a little bit different offensive output tonight. Tri-County's been passing the ball very well through the first two games, but tonight it was mostly a ground game. They did complete a few passes, but they kind of took the pressure off Rice Corner and put it in the hands of Hayden Hunt and the other running backs and took care of business. Stretched it out 35-0 at halftime, running clock in the second half, and did give up a defensive touchdown the first of the year, but it was a bunch of 9th and 10th graders out there that gave up the defensive touchdown versus the starters from Northeast Lauderdale.
How was the field conditions tonight where y'all were?
It was pretty tough. The field was worked on back during the summer. They added some extra sand and dirt into it to try to re-crown the field.
Right.
So it was a little bit soft to start the season, and this is 2 weeks in a row it's been played on with moisture on the field. And it was pretty chopped up by the end of the ball game tonight, but it didn't create too many issues for the Rebels. But Northeast Lauderdale, they had a quarterback, I believe his last name's Jemison, that's a pretty big runner, and he really had some struggles with footing tonight. He got tackled by the turf monster 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I understand how that goes. Well, you hate to see that much moisture early in the year when you've had a field rework, because it seems like once it starts raining, it never gets any better.
Yeah, well, we're on the road for a couple of weeks, so hopefully that'll help things out and get it back in a little bit better shape. We head over to St. Aloysius and Vicksburg next week, and then I believe we're on the road one more week. So it'll have a couple of weeks to recover. So hopefully it gets back in pretty decent shape. But it was a pretty sloppy field tonight, but not a sloppy performance by the Rebels. The starters for the Rebels scored a touchdown every time they possessed the ball, and the starting defense for the Rebels forced a 3 and out every time they were on the field.
Well, that's impressive. I know.
Yeah, it was
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say it was we felt like it was a good performance against the 4A public schools. So it was a good victory for the Rebels tonight.
Well, good deal. We appreciate you calling in tonight, and give us a call next week and give us a report on how they do over at St. Al.
Sure will. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Cliff.
Thank you.
Who we got next?
Did you have a couple scores?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I did. This was a big game, and just trying to track that score down. Starkville defeated West Point tonight. This was a really good ball game. Went back and forth. Starkville at home defeated West Point 33-26. We had a Rankin County score that was mentioned earlier, but Puckett defeated McLaurin by the score of 14-6. So I wanted to throw that one in as well.
Well, that Starkville West Point gets another close rivalry type game.
Yeah.
There's some bloodletting in that game.
You really don't realize it until I had to go up to Tupelo, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and you drive through and you go through Starkville and you realize how Starkville and West Point are really close together. So, and they're big rivals, no question about it.
Well, the thing about it is that's in that Golden Triangle area up there, and West Point has got a lot of business going on there, and you got Mississippi State ever expanding in Starkville, and they're growing together. They're almost the same town now.
Yeah, they really. Yeah, that's true. It's that and Columbus is not that far away, so it is kind of all kind of a metroplex of sorts.
It's amazing because when I was in high school and in college, going over to State for ball games or to go to visit friends or something like that. I mean, it was a long way to Columbus. It was a long way to West Point. And then when the Bryans, when they put in Old Waverly Golf Course up there, things changed there, and there's a lot of commerce going on. My friend Kenny Dill was the mayor up there for years and years, and just a really great guy, but he did a lot of good economic things for the city of West Point.
Yeah, it's a great
and
part
obviously,
of the state.
College towns, they don't have recessions in.
No.
Believe me, Oxford, where I went, does not have a recession ever.
Let's put it this way. College towns that are successful, they don't have recessions. Now, there are some colleges that are struggling with enrollment. Neither one of those schools are having trouble with enrollment right now.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is.
I don't know. I hadn't seen the numbers for Mississippi State this year, but I have seen the numbers for Ole Miss, and it's like the 6th year in a row they've set freshman enrollment records, and they don't have housing for them all. And the apartment business, they can't put them up fast enough.
Right. It's amazing. You win a few football games, it sure helps.
Well, I do know this, that the Oxford factor was the arrival of Eli Manning. That's when it started.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And the town boomed after that. Real estate's really expensive, and it's like that in Starkville now too. So anyway, who we got next?
So
Chris?
a gentleman that's part of the show, Will the Thrill, has called in to talk.
Will, how's it going, brother?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself? I kind of had to do a double take because I was watching some of the prep game, and Russ made a comment talking about we might get back before the show starts. So when I pulled it up on my laptop and I looked, I said, Russ, how'd you get back so quick? Then I realized who it was, and I just started laughing. But doing pretty good for an old fat guy. Had a couple of scores I wanted to give you all that are not listed.
Okay,
on the score sheet, and then one that just concluded about 10 minutes ago. I'll give you that one first. It was a triple overtime score in Natchez, but the Natchez Bulldogs defeated the Macomb Tigers by a score of 52-50.
Wow, what a shootout!
Yeah, I guess they're playing. I thought it was 8-man football. I had to look at their score twice just to make sure. And then the scores that I do have that are not listed.
One quick question for you, Will. The defensive coordinator still got jobs for both those schools after that game?
I don't know if they do or if they don't.
What a shootout.
You can rest assured defensive drills will be the theme for both schools next week on that one. Also, one game I wanted to mention that was played last night, my beloved Rams fell to the Lanier Bulldogs last night 16-6. And what's unusual about this particular game, prior to last night's win by Lanier, Provine had defeated them 37 years in a row.
Unbelievable.
Last night.
I knew that was, when I saw that score last night, I thought that was significant, and obviously it was.
Will, great to talk to you.
Yeah, we've got to take, at this time, for the top hour, we got to take a little earlier break. But I know Jake is on the phone, and as soon as this break is over with, we will have Jake Wimberly on the phone, able to talk to us about that Brandon game.
Great.
Sounds good.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
When storms rage, Malone responds. From claim to completion, Malone Roofing has helped rebuild communities for nearly 50 years. Contact Malone for 24/7 service at ecmalone.com.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today. See your name and file your claim. Even the smallest counties in Mississippi usually have thousands of people whose names are on the unclaimed money list at the Mississippi State Treasury. That's right. Many counties even have tens of thousands of names listed, totaling tens of millions in unclaimed dollars. Since he's been state treasurer, David McRae has returned a record $80 million to Mississippians who've searched the list, found their names, and staked their claim. About 1 in 10 Mississippians have unclaimed money, and that's why you should check www.treasury.ms.gov or click on Unclaimed Money and search today. If you see your name, file your claim. If it's your money, Treasurer David McRae will get it back to you.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4! Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4! Yeah! Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phones? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on cricket.
And we're back, gentlemen, and on the phone to visit with you guys about Brandon Knight is the voice of the Brandon Bulldogs, Jake Wimberly. Well,
Jake.
let me get him on. Hang on, I'm sorry. Oh, there he is.
Jake, how you doing tonight?
Gentlemen, happy Friday. How are you guys?
Hey, we're doing okay, Jake. Sounds like the Bulldogs are off to a strong start once again.
They are. I mean, they really are. You look at Sam Williams and what he's doing in year 4. I mean, winning in a couple different ways so far in 2 weeks. Kind of a track meet last week, out running down in Picayune, dropping 60 on Picayune, and then of course this week the defense really showed up for the Bulldogs in a ball game against Madison Central. I mean, we know the history between these two programs. This was the 23rd meeting between the two. Madison Central still holds the edge, 12 games to 11 in the series. You can chalk that up to that state championship win they got back in 2021, 21-17 or 24-17. But tonight, I mean, both teams played clutch defense for the most of the game. Both teams missed opportunities. Brandon had a punt blocked on the first series. Madison Central ended up missing a field goal on that series. Brandon also, had some miscues and some opportunities in the kicking game that Madison Central messed up and couldn't capitalize. So stalemates there, but big plays, defensively by Brandon, set up some short fields. Tyson Robinson, the very talented 4-star running back, he's got 16 offers as a sophomore around the country from schools such as Oregon and Alabama and others. He ends up with 3 touchdowns tonight, and really just the Bulldogs defense just really hemmed up a very, very talented Madison Central running game. It was a heck of a ball game. It was a slugfest between two 7A Titans tonight.
And y'all played that game at Madison Central?
No, this was at Brandon.
Oh, at Brandon tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, who do you have next, Jake?
We'll travel over to Clinton, George, over in your part of the world.
Oh, gracious.
We'll play the Metro's longest running rivalry. It should be a good one.
Yeah, Clinton has gotten off to last year was a horrible year. I mean, that's the worst year they've had in 70 years. They won 1 ball game. They shocked the world a little bit last week, beating Warren Central, and they almost beat Northwest Rankin tonight. Their schedule is just a challenge, but that'll be a good game. That'll be a good matchup. And we were wondering earlier, when do you see Oak Grove? Is that really toward the end of the season?
Yeah, that'll be closer to the back end of the season. Brandon will play, obviously, Clinton
and then they'll play Warren Central and Gulfport. They'll take the region break there. They'll have an off week. Then they'll start obviously with Petal, and then they'll play Pearl, and then it's Oak Grove, and then they'll finish the season with Northwest Rankin and Meridian. But that Oak Grove matchup with Brandon, that has turned into a 7A South 7A Clash of Titans as well. And boy, when those two get together, it's always fun. That'll be at Bulldog Stadium here in the regular season.
Okay.
But I would anticipate that'll be the first of two meetings between those two again this year.
That was my next question. Are they positioned to where they could meet in the playoffs?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I mean, obviously only one can win the region, but Region 4, obviously there's some really good football, as you guys know, on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, but Region 3 has just had their way with Region 4 over the last several years or number of years. So I do think if you look and kind of handicap the field in South 7A, it's Brandon and Oak Grove, and of course Oak Grove, they do such a great job with that program, and they're not going anywhere, and I can promise you they'll be sitting there waiting on Brandon when we get to that point.
Well, Jake, it's interesting that you bring that point up, because I think really the southern part, let's just say Hattiesburg and south, really has taken a long time after Katrina, when all those people got wiped out down there and they moved north and went to other schools, and it takes a long time for that to recover. A lot of people don't realize that.
No, you're absolutely right. And you talk to the people down there, that obviously, just now, even just the Ocean Springs finally come back and as a city and really thrive. Gulfport the same way. And, you go across to different portions of the coast, and it takes some time to recover. They don't have some of the numbers that some of the bigger schools in 7A have. Really good football programs. You look at Blake Pennick down at Gulfport. He's, I think, one of the best coaches in the state. He's doing a great job. Ocean Springs does a great job, but still not quite the numbers in the type of talent that you'll see at an Oak Grove or a Brandon or Madison Central or Tupelo. But I would expect that that pendulum will swing at some point.
Let me ask you a question. As far as how many players you dress, how many players does Brandon dress for a ball game?
We talked about that last time on our coach's show. Coach Williams has 100. He's dressed at 108.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's a lot of guys. It really is, and that was one of the advantages last week playing Picayune. I think Picayune dressed 50, and Brandon was dressed in 108, and I think Coach Collins at Madison Central is around 105. So, and that's unofficial numbers. He told me that a few weeks ago, but that's the thing when you start talking about a Brandon or Oak Grove or Madison Central or Tupelo. You're crossing that 100 threshold on roster sizes.
Wow.
And that's about 3 bus loads, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It gets expensive when you start taking the charters too. I can promise you.
I bet the budgets are tough.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it. Thanks for calling tonight, and good to talk to you as always, Jake. And look forward to talking next week.
Absolutely, guys. Have a great weekend. I appreciate it. Take
care.
All
right. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.
Tommy Upton from Picayune.
Tommy, welcome to the show tonight.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Doing well. Tell us about the Maroon Tide tonight.
Well, we rebound from a tough loss last week, as Jake just heard him talking against those Brandon Bulldogs. I don't know if there was 108 getting off the bus. There was 33 buses that pulled up. They just kept filing off of those. So I think there was 108 in the first group, and then at halftime they swapped them out. But that's a different story. Tough loss for the Tide last week. They went toe-to-toe with Brandon for 3 quarters and then kind of ran out of gas that fourth quarter. And they rebounded this week against Slidell, a team out of Slidell called North Shore High School. Although they're very close to us, just about 15 miles away, haven't played them, to my knowledge, in their history. So first time for both teams, and shut them out 35-0. Team looked really good. Picayune's had really some generational talent come through the last 4 years, maybe 5 years, back-to-back state championships, and then last year getting beat by West Jones in the South State. Lost a lot of ball players, but have still a lot of skill players in place. Darrell Smith, who's been a 4-year starter for the Tide, had over 200 yards tonight as a senior. Tristan Cooper, another tailback that we just kind of rotate in and out. He had 3 touchdowns. Brand new quarterback. He's been playing cornerback for us for the past 3 years. He throws a touchdown pass tonight. And then defense has had to replace, as I said, a lot of starters. They pitch a shutout against a very big 7A school. So overall, still trying to figure out a few spots, but Tide's looking good. We're going to play our brand of football, which is 4 yards in a cloud of dust, and we're just going to be stronger and tougher and outlast you until that fourth quarter. But overall, Tide looking good, and I like our chances.
Well, I know that I've had some experience being on the other side of the field from that. My son-in-law used to be one of the defensive coaches from Oxford High School, and some of those knockdown dragouts they had in the state championship games. So they're very physical. They're a well-coached team.
Absolutely. I remember those days back in 11 and 13. We played Oxford in Starkville. Yeah, those 2 years, and both of those teams, they never really played a team like ours, and it was a shock for them to just kind of control the football, and we eat up a lot of clock, and we're not really concerned about trying to outthink you. We're just going to outwork you. That's been what we do for over 30 years, quite honestly.
Well, Tommy, we appreciate you calling in as always, and look forward to your call next week, and good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
George, you have some more scores before we go to Jared Schatz.
Yes. A game that Will mentioned earlier. A lot of people haven't heard this one, but Natchez over Macomb, 52-50. That was in 3 overtimes. Meridian won, beating Biloxi by the score of 26-6. Wayne County over Morton, 45-28. And again, want to mention Starkville got a win over West Point tonight by the score of 33-26. And West Harrison beat Summerall 35-18.
Do you have? I know we said the Columbia Academy score against Centerville was 28-0 Columbia. Do you have any other MAIS scores tonight?
Oh yeah. Let's see. Kirk Academy over Central Holmes 36-8. Let me see. Indianola defeated Benton 20-0. Mentioned Jackson Academy. Shut out Silliman 27-0. Jackson Prep over Pillow tonight up in the Delta, 63-0. Those are some MIIS scores. I think we've given some of those earlier, but let me see if I can find one more. Oh, Hartfield shut out Cathedral by the score of 49-0.
Okay.
Here's Jared Schatz to talk about Germantown.
Jared, welcome to the show. Tell us about Germantown's game tonight.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well on this Friday. And we took the long Oregon Trail of 9 miles to Canton, Mississippi tonight. Everybody, no ox died, so I think we were okay. No, it was a ball game. These guys have played a lot since the early founding of Germantown, and one of those ball games, a very vanilla game plan for the Mavericks. Get the win 31-6, but very sloppy. 17 penalties tonight. They had 10 a week ago in the win over Northwest Rankin, and able to clean that up. They're hoping going forward. They were in the last half, the second half against Northwest Rankin, but tonight just sloppy all around. They kept it very simple. Ground game. They had Nye Johnson, a young man that really ran them to the playoffs in 7A last year. He was quiet last week against Northwest Rankin, but he had 114 yards on the ground tonight. And I'll tell you, Canton has a young man at quarterback, Eric Gilkey, a very talented young man. He's the only senior on their offense. And he really, Velma Jackson, a team that made the South State champion. They were South State champions last year and lost in the state championship. But Canton beat them last week. He scored 5 touchdowns, had over 300 total yards of offense. And Germantown did a really good job defensively on him tonight. I think he only had about 80 passing yards and only about 30 rushing yards. They sacked him 7 times tonight, and that was really the difference in the ball game. Good ground game. They got after the quarterback. So one of those ball games, it's a good, after coming off that big win against Northwest Rankin, a good game to really get the fundamentals down as far as running the football and coming back down to earth.
I was just curious. We were talking to Jake Wimberly a few minutes ago, and, of course, Brandon, 7A school, and Germantown is a school that I know is growing by leaps and bounds every year, and they're, of course, 7A. How many players does Germantown dress out, just out of curiosity?
The numbers I got a couple weeks ago from coaches, we're in the high 90s, not as much as Brandon and Madison Central that
but
Jake
still
talked about. But yeah. I mean, there's rooftops being thrown up out here left and right.
Right.
It won't be long, and they'll be in that 100 category. But guys, it's they've already added a wing. They added, I think, 27 classrooms to the school this year. It's absolutely blowing up out here.
Yeah, well, that's a beautiful school. I know that.
Yeah, I actually have some grandchildren that are out there in that school district. Had 4, but two of the boys moved off, so they won't be Mavericks unless they move back to town. So.
Well, we're recruiting all the football players we can get to keep up with all these great football teams like Madison Central and Brandon. You know, I call them the fighting Jake Wimberleys over there. Those guys are all
well, you got to do what you got to do to survive, right?
That's right. Well, I hope Germantown. This 2-0 start is great, but they're going to have to buckle it up next week. Warren Central comes to Germantown. They are 0-5 all time versus Warren Central, so they're hoping they can change that next week.
That'll be a good ball game for sure.
Well, we appreciate you calling in, and look forward to hearing from you next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
You too.
You as well.
So when we come back from the break, we'll have Granny on the phone as we head into the sixth period tonight. We have just moved right along.
Yeah, you got to think on your feet there,
I got to
Chris.
think. How many I got to go? Okay.
We'll wait, as Wilson Pickett used to say, we'll wait till the midnight hour, right?
All right, more Friday Night Under the Lights coming up in just a moment.
At Mississippi Public Broadcasting, we tell local stories that matter. Educational and entertaining television, radio, news, and podcasts. We have something for everyone. So tune in and enjoy all we have to offer. Every day, MPB. Your stories, our mission.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket.
I volunteer at a bunny rescue, and with Cricket, my bill is consistent.
Wait, this is huge! A new offer, 5G for $15. You heard it here first. 5G plans starting at $15 a month. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Leaky roof? Malone Roofing has you covered long after the storm. Mississippi's roofing experts, setting the industry standards. Family owned for over 50 years. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com.
Hello, Mississippi. Did you know that the average student graduates college with $30,000 worth of debt? That amount of debt can delay major life milestones, including getting married, buying a home, and starting a family. But don't worry, we've got some good news for you tonight. College Savings Mississippi and Treasurer David McRae can help you reduce or eliminate that debt. Their plans are flexible and affordable. Start saving for as little as $25 today. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more.
When storms strike and wind and hail wreak havoc, Malone Residential Roofing is there through the restoration process all the way to completion. Contact Malone for your free storm inspection and consultation at ecmalone.com.
People who come to Cricket stay with Cricket. Cricket gives me the coverage I need at a really fair price.
Stop! This came all the way from the top. New offer, 5G plan starting at $15 a month. Let's go! Smile, you're on Cricket.
And welcome back to Friday Night Under the Lights. So Granny's on the phone to talk to us. Here he is.
Granny, welcome to the game. Welcome to the show.
Hey, William and George, Millsouth game was good last night. I was there. I thought I saw you, William.
Yeah, I was up there. It was really a good game, and course, I've been on both sides of the fence. I had a kid that played at Millsaps. I had a son-in-law that coached over at Belhaven. So, I was glad to see that game go like it did and made the rivalry even better, I think.
It's a unique rivalry. If you win the game, you're on cloud nine. If you lose, you stick for a year.
No doubt. And you can walk from one stadium to the other.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Don't even need a car.
No, you don't. Well, tell us what's going on tonight with you.
Well, I went to the Union Enterprise game, and here's the crazy thing about a couple of crazy things happened tonight. I was going to Union to watch the ball game. I passed by East Central Junior College, and I saw all these people sitting in the stands at East Central. So I pulled in there just to see what was going on, and I asked the people, I said, who's playing here tonight? They said Union and Enterprise. I said, well, I better stop here then.
Why did they wind up playing there?
Well, the field was so wet up there at Union, they just moved it to artificial turf.
Gotcha.
So that was a good deal. And Enterprise won 23-22, a great ball game. It was close the whole time, the whole game. Nobody led more than 7. Union was facing a 4th and 40 with time running out, and they kept using the passing game, and they got 20 yards of it back, and that was the last play. But, Union's not as good as they was last year, but they still got a good passing game.
Got you.
But I would have liked to have seen what would happen on a drier field.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know if you saw the Millsaps game last night, even though you may have artificial turf, it still gets slick if it's wet.
Yeah. Yeah, and another crazy thing happened tonight. Right close to halftime, a car caught on fire over there. right behind the East Central clubhouse over there, a car caught on fire. I'm going to tell you, there was smoke everywhere during that second quarter.
I bet.
But they didn't stop playing. They just kept playing.
Well,
go ahead.
And that's kind of like the Auburn LSU game several years ago when the old gym at Auburn burned down behind the grandstand on the LSU side.
Oh man, I didn't think they was ever going to get that fire out. They finally got it out, and I never knew who owned it, but they finally got it out. But there was smoke everywhere. But the game was great. It's 23-22. You couldn't ask for a better game. But Enterprise, they kept the lead on most of the time, and Union and Enterprise both going to win a lot of games.
Well, Granny, where do you think you may go next week? You always pick out a good game to go to.
Yeah, these 1- and 2-point games always follow me. I may go watch Hattiesburg, Oak Grove. I may go watch Petal, Columbia. I just don't know yet.
Okay, then those are big schools for you. You normally go to a 2A school or somebody like that.
You're right, and I may go back next week. I don't know yet.
Yeah, okay.
Randy, I'm going to tell you one quick shot right here at that stadium you were in over at East Central tonight. My good friend, Coach A.J. Kilpatrick, used to coach at East Central over there, and his son and I are best friends, and I actually helped assistant coach in that stadium one night when he was playing over there.
Oh, man. That is a nice stadium. But I tell you what, it could have got ugly with that burned-up car, though.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, wondering nobody got hurt.
I don't know who owned it, but they're going to need our prayers.
All right.
Well, we appreciate you calling in, as always. Hopefully I'll see you around the ballpark here sometime.
All right, man. You guys are awesome. Now keep it up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you calling. Chris, who we got next?
Actually, there is somebody calling in, but I don't have the name yet, so
I can drop a few scores if you'd like.
Yeah, I was going to say, Russ is telling me that Mike Peterson, who we talked to earlier, has sent him a picture of him in the little brown jug, and we're going to put that on the Finello.com website because, of course, that game was tonight.
Okay.
And also want to remind everybody when we start our next segment, we're going to our Crazy Eights section tonight, which features 8-man football. So if you've never been exposed to that or know anything about it, we're going to learn a lot tonight in our 11:30 segment, so hang on.
All right.
George?
Let's see. Let me give you some scores. Forest over Newton 42-0. Mentioned DeIberville beat Gaucher 33-12. Another Gulf Coast game. Gulfport shut out Van Cleve 35-0. It was Hatley over Smithville 36-8. Moorville beat East Union 42-6. It was Holly Springs shutting out Byers 33-0. Houston over Shannon 7-6. Long Beach, or actually Forest County, defeated Long Beach 21-9. Louisville shut out Neshoba Central 15-0. Wesson over Lloyd Star 44-12. It was McGee shutting out Mendenhall 8-0. That's always referred to as the Simpson County Super Bowl, as opposed to the Rankin County Super Bowl. Puckett beat McLaurin 14-6. Meridian beat Biloxi 26-6. It was Picayune shutting out North Shore of Slidell, Louisiana 35-0. Kemper County 46, Noxapater 8. Tri-County beat Northeast Lauderdale 42-7. Wayne County over Morton 45-28. Oak Grove, maybe the top team in the state, defeated Ocean Springs 35-21. Pass Christian over Purvis 48-9. Warren Central shutting out Pearl tonight by the score of 21-0. Noxubee County over Philadelphia 39-7. Ridgeland over Florence. I don't think we've given this one out tonight, but it was Ridgeland winning over Florence by the score of 24-3. And one more, South Panola over Oxford 41-34.
That's really an interesting score to me. Oxford's kind of had the upper hand lately.
Yeah.
Of course, South Panola had those great runs, but
didn't they though? I mean, you kind of forget that now. But what was it? A stretch of what? I mean, like almost 10 years or something. I mean, they were just so dominant year after year after year.
Yeah. Jackson Prep broke their string of consecutive won 7 straight championships.
Yeah.
And South Panola won 6.
Right.
But they used to call it the University of South Panola over there because when they talk about dressing out players, they dress out 100-plus players as well.
And they were good,
They
too.
were really good. But they played just like Picayune. They just ran the ball.
Right.
But they were so much faster than anybody else.
And they played great defense, too.
When you had the kind of players they had, you could play good defense.
That's right.
John Weaver to talk about MRA.
John, welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? How are y'all?
How did those Patriots do tonight?
We took one right on the chin with a right hook and a left hook, 60-36 tonight.
Wow.
First Pulaski. Yeah, they've won 8 of the last state championships in Arkansas for the 6A. And they have the competitive multiplier in Arkansas, so now they're 7A, 3A numbers. Man, they onside kick. They go for it on 4th down. Doesn't matter where they are.
The guy that never punts.
Well, he's not there anymore.
Oh.
He's not. Kevin Kelly's not there anymore, but they still do the same stuff. Follow the same suit of not punting and onside kicking. They do kick more extra points now in the game mode. But look, we were 27-21, had a chance, and they got an onside kick, and man, when that's one of the biggest moments. That and we had a punt snap over our head. It just wasn't a good night for the Pats, but we'll bounce back and go back to work on Monday.
For those that don't know, tell everybody where Pulaski is.
Pulaski's in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Gotcha.
And they're the Bruins. Man, they have a great staff. It's become like we lost by 2 on a last-second field goal last year, and then it's the 4th time we've played them, 0-4. So anyway, it was a great high school football game to play out of state, to represent your state. Just a good high school football game. The sadness is we lost a student on this past weekend.
Terrible tragedy. Yep.
And so the stages of grief. I don't know where our guys are at. You would hope that they would be in the anger park still on a Friday night, but it hits different people in different strides. But the denial part. It's one of those things that the Jackson Prep had to go through when they lost Walker Wilbank.
That's right.
Dedicated the whole season to him, but teenagers, high school boys, you don't know how that's going to affect them. But it definitely affected me tonight. I was really close with Robert, with him being a Saints fan, and I love the Who Dat Nation as well. But anyway,
Well, that just a terrible tragedy, but not only for the family but the entire school. It affects different, like you say, different folks in different ways. But when you're dealing with 15 to 18-year-old kids, there's a lot of fragility there.
It is. That's a great point. And you talk about the school community. I mean, he was a senior. He was one of the main leaders of the PAC game, which is our student section, and just emotional night for him. And so anyway, we're gonna bounce back. We got Madison St. Joe next week, and then I just heard y'all talking about Oak Grove. They come to the Metro and come on down to Old Kent Road. The game that went into overtime last year, and we went 4-2. Lost by about as short as the guy lost the Ravens on the touchdown last night, by a toe. We lost in overtime last year.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I one thing we talk about scheduling. We talk about some of these early games that are not necessarily district games, but that's an interesting schedule for MRA, a challenging schedule for sure.
Yeah, it's the second year of it. So we went to Pulaski last year and went to Oak Grove, so we have the return trips home here. But I think it tests you early. It sees what your team's made of. We had to replace a guy like John White. Samuel Sykes coming in, doing a great job with that.
Right.
Coming in and taking those snaps now from John White, who's at Southern Miss now. But look, it's an early season. We're in week 5. Holy cow! So we'll bounce back, and we play another Bruin team just across the road, Madison St. Joe, next week.
Well, good luck with that. And, John, we appreciate you calling in. Good luck, and our thoughts and prayers to everybody at the MRA community.
Thank y'all so much. Y'all have a great night.
You too. Thanks a lot. We'll take a break right now, and when we come back, we'll go to our Crazy Eights segment here, 8-man football feature. You're watching and listening to Friday Night Under the Lights.
If the money's yours, you should have it. That's why State Treasurer David McRae has returned a record $80 million in unclaimed money to Mississippians. And there's hundreds of millions more, maybe with your name on it. Check the list. Visit www.treasury.ms.gov and see if you have any of the unclaimed money. Each year, banks, utilities, businesses, brokers, and insurance companies turn over millions of dollars to the state because they're not sure who is entitled to the funds. Treasurer McRae has an entire unclaimed money staff waiting to take your claim and return your money. Check the list today. Treasury.ms.gov.
Leaky roof? Malone Roofing has you covered long after the storm. Mississippi's roofing experts, setting the industry standards. Family owned for over 50 years. Call today or visit online at ecmalone.com.
Mississippi football families, have you thought about how you're going to tackle student loan debt? Don't do it on your own. Pass the ball to State Treasurer David McRae and his College Savings Mississippi team today. With College Savings Mississippi, you can lock in today's tuition rate, prepay college, and avoid student loan debt altogether. Don't let your finances get sacked because you didn't invest in your child's education. Visit treasury.ms.gov/college savings to learn more today.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
I was paying too much money in 5G, and then my son suggested that I should try cricket. It was easy to switch.
And we love easy. 4. Yeah. Smile, you're on cricket.
Cricket has free Samsung Galaxy phones. Whoa! Free phones? That's 5G. And nationwide coverage.
Pretty good deal.
Smile, you're on Cricket.
And now it's time for our Crazy 8 section.
Welcome to the 10 Sauce Academy. Here now with tonight's 8-man report. I'm Clayton Jackson. I'm here with Coach Rhodes. What brought you to the 10 Sauce Academy, Coach?
Man of faith. I feel like the Lord brought me to this part of Louisiana. This game and school industry I've been in for over 20 years is just part of who I am. And so we got down here and fell in love with these kids, just love what's going on. And we're so tickled to death to be able to be these kids' coaches. So me and my wife, she's a secretary, and I'm a head football coach. So we love it here. So and it's even better to get to do something that you love too. That you coach football. So that's how we got here. This game. So we're excited about where it's heading, getting it turned around. When young guys like this, and so we're excited where it's going.
Maybe a lot of people haven't heard of 8-on-8 football, but what about 8-on-8 football? You think makes the game so much more exciting than a regular 11 football?
Well, the way we do it here in AIS, we play a lot of most 95% of the teams play on the 11-man field. So they don't have finances to go and move the goalposts, stuff like that. So plus the state championships played it in